Hello and welcome to another episode of Tudor, I Hardly Know Her.
Wait, how are they going to know it's an exciting episode of Tudor, I Hardly Know Her unless you say exciting episode of Tudor, I Hardly Know Her? Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Tudor, I Hardly Know Her. I'm your host, Garrett. With me is my lovely, so smart, so wonderful, so talented, such a talent, best talent I've ever seen. Never seen a better talent. It's Emily.
Hey guys, how you doing? You can't answer because this is my podcast.
And I guess this is kind of like a special episode because we're live and in studio.
For those of you who don't know, Garrett lives in another city, so we don't get to do a lot of the recordings together. We usually do it separately.
Yes, Skype is a wonderful little thing.
No Jeffrey today. He had to work, so it's just Garrett and I.
Just a little intimate get together between you and me.
In our thousands of downloaders. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Oh my God. So let's get this out of the way. We've seen an awesome uptick in people following the Facebook and
Twitter.
In Twitter, yes. I don't follow the Twitter.
It's okay. I follow the Twitter.
The Twitters.
Do you do the tweeting?
Do you twit?
Do you twit? I occasionally twit.
It's not like millions upon millions of people are listening. It's
right.
Every little bit counts, and we love it. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, this is exciting, and I love our followers who are reaching out to us on Twitter and Facebook. It's really exciting to see so many other people who enjoy the Tudors as much as I do.
Yeah. So, and we always say this at the end, but let's bring it up at the beginning. Share it with your friends. Tell your buddies. Share it with your significant other who might not give a shit or whatever about the Tudors.
If they love you, they will feign interest enough.
Yes, because that's what marriage is all about.
That's really how I got Jeff into this. So,
Emily, what are we talking about today?
Today we are actually taking a recommended episode. Let me pull up the name of the person who recommended it. I'm sorry for not having this off the top of my head.
You should have done this at the start and been prepared for the show.
I'm a little busy. Hold on, I'm lost. Because I can't remember how she got in touch with me. It was through messages. So thank you to Alexandria for recommending today's episode. We are going to talk about how the Tudors celebrated holidays because Easter is coming up.
That's excellent timing. I love it.
Yes. So she gave a great recommendation. It was really appropriate timing. So we're going to talk a little bit about how all the holidays were celebrated.
All right. And if any of you guys have any other episode recommendations or really good ideas
or questions, even if it's not a whole episode worth, I'll probably answer your questions in an episode.
Look, guys, we're not dumb. We know you could probably Google the answers, but
yeah, but
talk to us.
You're not going to be as funny as us.
Yeah.
So we're a riot. That's why you listen.
Educate me on the holidays, Emily.
Okay, we're going to really cover two main ones because they didn't have Thanksgiving. So we're going to just chat.
I wonder why.
For some reason, they weren't thankful. I don't know. So we're really going to talk about Christmas and Easter for the most part. And I have a fun Henry fact this week.
Oh, my God.
I'll talk about it later on.
Okay.
Because I'm going to start talking about Christmas first. So merry belated Christmas.
Christmas, Christmas time is here. Time for joy.
It was actually Henry VIII's idea to have chipmunks singing a song about Christmas.
That is our crazy Henry fact. That is amazing, Emily.
He invented Alvin and the Chipmunks. It was crazy. He's like, I don't know what a chipmunk is, but this is going to be good.
Well, back in the day, they had different names. It was actually Henry, George, and
Edward,
whatever.
Yeah, Henry, George, and Edward. Edward.
Okay.
No. So let's talk about Christmas. So Christmas, as we know it, really is
about Coca-Cola.
It's about Coca-Cola and polar bears. Christmas, as we know it, consists of really 2 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. We start spending a lot of money around Thanksgiving, or if you're in another country, then 6 weeks or so before Christmas is when all the crazy spending starts. Didn't used to be like that, though. I actually learned a lot while researching this. Christmas was like a season. Like winter is a season and Christmas is a season.
Oh man, that sounds wonderful or terrible.
No, you're not going to like it because
way less gifts.
You and I grew up, I mean, yeah, but they were baller gifts if you were in his court. You and I grew up with Lent.
Mm-hmm. If you guys remember the religion episode, Emily and I were raised very Catholic.
Yes. So, and we know Advent. Mm-hmm. Advent's the 4 weeks prior to Christmas. Well, Advent was very strict, almost like Lent. And I didn't know this. There was fasting, so you couldn't have eggs, cheese, or meat in that time period.
Oh my God, kill me now.
Yeah. And it ended on Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve was apparently especially strict. I don't know what made it especially strict, but it was especially strict. So then starting on Christmas Day, that's when all the festivities started.
Why eggs, cheese, and
meat?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay.
It's kind of like why you can't have fish during Lent.
Or you have to have fish. You can't have meat.
That's what I mean. That's why fish was the acceptable meat during Lent.
That is really
and you
weird.
Can't have meat. I can explain a little bit about that. I actually was researching one thing and I found a couple articles about why you only fish during Lent. I just didn't retain any of the information. So Christmas Eve was especially strict, but starting on Christmas Day, that's when all the festivities started. So you had it was 12 days of Christmas, and it all started on Christmas Day, and it ended on 12th night, which was 12 days later.
So that would be January 2nd?
No, the 6th.
The 6th, okay.
Okay.
I'm bad at math.
That's okay. We didn't major in math. So you've the big celebrations during the 12 days of Christmas were Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and 12th night. Fun fact, apparently the Tudors celebrated the beginning of the New Year's on March 25th.
What?
Yeah, so happy belated Tudor New Year, guys.
Yay.
It was really weird to me.
Next year we'll have to celebrate that one.
Tudor New Year. But at the same time, I think they just celebrated it on the March 25th. I don't really know. Maybe it's like Chinese New Year, which I don't get either.
Yeah.
If I studied it, I'd probably get it.
Chinese New Year is actually closer to actual New Year.
Yeah, it is. It's weird.
And the March thing was created by whom?
You've used the word whomst twice while you're visiting, and it's not a friggin' word.
I know. I don't know why I keep saying if I like saying it. Whomst.
WHOMST, guys, is what he's saying. Whomst.
Whomst created the holiday.
IDK, my BFF Rose.
Thanks.
I actually don't know. Wow, that just aged me. I don't know who created the March 25th in Tudor times. Let's assume Henry, because he's a little bit loco. So during those 12 days, work was stopped. People got that time off from working. For some reason, especially spinners who spun fabric, who spun wool into fabric and all that stuff, they especially weren't allowed to work. And I don't know why, especially them. But the few articles I read, they were like, and especially the spinners. I'm like, okay, I get it.
No, you don't understand. The spinners.
The spinners. And then they started working again on Plow Monday, which it's not the day you get plowed and get drunk and have a ruckus time. It's just the day you bring out your plows and start working again. Garrett, you need to laugh at that.
Sorry, I'm also trying to find out the history of the Tudor New Year.
Oh, well, we can find that out.
Yeah.
So let's go to the fun part of food, because all of those big 3 days that I told you about during the 12 days of Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and the 12th night, those are big food festival, big time food stuff. So there's mince pie, which still exists to this day, although
now when you say that these are big parts of the holiday, does this apply to the peasantry as well, or is this okay? Yeah,
they visited family and friends, and actually there was one aspect of it where the barriers were kind of broken down between the classes.
That was another thing I wanted to ask.
And don't worry, Henry VIII built those barriers right back up. So
what a scumbag.
Scumbag Henry. So the food, they had mince pie, and today I think it's traditionally a sweet dessert, a sweet treat. But then it was 13 ingredients to symbolize Christ and his apostles, and it consisted of mutton because the angel went to see the shepherds. and cloves, and it was a savory food.
Mm-hmm.
So swan and goose were the traditional meat on Christmas. Apparently, I think Elizabeth was a little bit out of touch because after the Armada defeat, she told everybody that they had to have goose on Christmas. Goose was not easily acceptable. That's like a leader saying, hey, everybody has to have lobster on Christmas. So I think she's a teeny tiny bit out of touch. It was meant to celebrate the Armada's downfall.
Well, I'm glad we switched over to ham.
Ew, no. I have...
What is wrong with you?
Wait, hold on. What do I have on Christmas? I think we do have ham. But I hate ham, so my mom always lets me have leftover roast beef.
Oh, my God. You're such a broken child.
I don't like ham. It's so gross. It's slimy and salty.
Yeah, which is why it's great.
Ew, it's disgusting.
All right, new poll on the Twitters and the Facebooks.
Is
turkey or ham?
Turkey forever, guys. In England, it's turkey.
This is our own civil war.
This is the cousins'
war. Are you
war.
team ham or team turkey?
I'm team turkey all the way. Ham is gross and ugh.
This is our first T-shirt opportunity.
Team turkey. No, we had another one. I survived Henry VIII, and all I got was beheaded by Mary I. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
This is the second T-shirt opportunity.
Second one.
Okay, so swan or goose was the traditional meat to have on Christmas. Peacock was also served.
What?
So here's the thing about the peacock. They didn't just like pluck the feathers and then roast the peacock. They would skin the peacock, roast the meat, and then re-skin it so it was dressed in its plumage when it was served.
That's brutal as hell.
I mean, it wasn't alive.
But still.
I'm kind of curious about what peacock tasted like.
Like chicken?
It probably did taste like chicken, but like, do you think it tastes more like duck or like chicken?
I'd think more like duck.
I'd say more like chicken. Team chicken.
Team duck.
Team turkey.
Okay. Third T-shirt opportunity.
They also served wild boar, and apparently its head was used as decoration on the Christmas table, which is weird. And then this is like the most American and Henry VIII meal ever. There was the Tudor Christmas pie. It was a turkey stuffed with goose, stuffed with chicken, stuffed with partridge, stuffed with pigeon.
That's just a turducken.
No, it's not. It's a turgoo icken idgeon.
Turgoogajicken.
If it was just the turkey, goose, and chicken, it could be turgookin. But then there's also partridge and pigeon. So how do I fit in the turgookin with the pargin?
It sounds Swedish.
The Swedish chef making Tudor Christmas. The ping ping bird. So, doesn't that sound like something Henry VIII was like? I really want turkey, but I also want goose, but I also want chicken, but I also want partridge, but I also want pigeon. And his chef
one enterprising chef was like, excuse me,
I'm gonna get a raise.
I'll figure this shit out.
I'm gonna get 2 flagons of ale for this one. Drink break. Okay, so Christmas carols were flourishing in the Tudor times. They kind of started around this time, and they really took off and became a big thing. So that's kind of cool to think. And like some of the ones we know now were big back then.
Such as
I think the 12 Days of Christmas, maybe. A little town
and a partridge and a pigeon and a pheasant and a duck and a goose and a turkey.
Yes, that was how it originally was. So that's what he was like, I think this is too much. Okay, Garrett, remember how we talked about how much they went to mass back then?
Oh, yeah.
So on Christmas Day, they had 3 masses.
Oh, my God, kill me.
I know, isn't that exhausting? I'm exhausted just think about it. And okay, okay, so for non-Catholics, I don't know about other religions, but I know for Jeff, who's Methodist, communion wasn't something that they did every day or every time they went to church. It was at special occasions. It used to be like that. It used to be like that for Catholics. They only did communion 3 times a year.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
What were the 3 times? I would assume Easter, Christmas, and
something called Whitsun, which is the feast of the Pentecost. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, plays were performed during this time, and actually, I found out a little bit more about plays going off our last episode. There were 3 types of plays. There were.
It would be like
Okay.
morality
so there
plays.
Were, yes. Yeah.
Saints
Let's see.
plays.
Morality plays. And okay, you got 2 of them. What's
Nice!
the next one?
The last one?
Yes.
Okay, so morality, saints, history.
I mean, it rhymes with history.
Misery.
Mystery.
Damn it.
So the mystery plays, they were stories from the Bible acted out. There was miracle plays, which
The
is
mystery ones?
yes, mystery is stories from the Bible.
I wonder who nailed our Christ to the cross.
And then there was miracle plays, which were the ones of the saints. And then there was morality plays, which is like the beginning of drama, and it was about good versus evil, essentially.
So they didn't have much in the way of comedy back then.
No, but comedy. So
Well, I assume they had like court jesters and
yeah. Oh yes. I'm actually going to talk about one of the things that is pretty hilarious. In a minute, but yeah, plays back then. Comedy wasn't always laugh out loud. It was just if it had a not depressing ending. So like Romeo and Juliet, if they had lived, it would have been considered a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's from my 7th grade drama class.
I mean, to be fair, the entirety of the what's his name, the Baz Luhrmann.
Who?
Is that the guy that did Romeo and Juliet, the one with Leo DiCaprio?
I don't know.
Because that one's a comedy.
That
one
one's
is
a comedy.
100%
That one's
a comedy.
hilariously bad. So the Yule log was burned. Do you know the Yule log?
Is it just a big frickin' log that you set on fire?
Yeah, they burn it for 12 days.
Just one log?
One log, and I'm assuming it's not constantly burning for that time. I'm betting they like burn it a little bit and then they blow it out really quickly because otherwise it'd have to be a really big log.
Yeah.
So also Henry VIII, being Henry VIII, decided to ban sports in 1541. One source I used didn't clarify, but another source did. It was banned on Christmas Day.
He straight up banned them all together, or
Except
just
archery.
for the holidays?
See, I don't know.
I would assume it's just because he's too fat and curmudgeonly to actually play sports.
No. He likes, well, this included gambling, tennis, bowls, and things like that. Like, you don't have to be skinny to gamble. I think what it meant was, well, one source made it seem like he banned it in general to all but the wealthy, except on Christmas Day, so everybody could play on Christmas Day. And another source said he banned it on Christmas Day. I'm going to go with the former, that he banned it to all but the wealthy, except on Christmas Day, everybody can gamble and play bowls and tennis. Besides archery, because you know Henry loved archery. He was a regular Arthur.
That's a thing we brought up in an earlier episode.
Okay, so let's get to the fun part.
Okay.
Presents. Presents were actually not exchanged until New Year's Day.
Okay.
And it was in the court anyway. It was really it was an important aspect, and like it got very political. So in 1532, when Henry had banished Catherine, but he wasn't yet married to Anne, Catherine of Aragon sent him like a cup or a cup, I think, like a silver cup, and he rejected the present. But he accepted Anne Boleyn's. And then like during Elizabeth's reign, somebody pissed off Queen Elizabeth about marriage. Like I think somebody, a suitor of hers,
Somebody was trying to get in her pants and send her gifts.
I think a suitor said something about how she was supposed to be subjected, or like she should be responding to a man, and she got pissed, and so his gift was a bejeweled whip to show that he was sorry and he was willing to subjugate himself. I think that's kind of funny.
That is pretty good.
Okay, and then like the breaking down of the barriers that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
There was something called a wassail. Wassail.
I've heard that term before.
It's a bowl of hot ale mixed with apples, spices, and sugar, and that actually sounds really delicious. and at the bottom was a piece of bread. And so they would share it just amongst themselves wherever they were. And then the most important person in the room would get the bread at the end. But it didn't really matter, like, if you were in a tavern, like, if you were a noble in a tavern full of peasants. I don't know how often that happened, but, like, everybody in the room would drink from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of a cool. And then they would sing a song. Wassail, 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 wassail,
This is the
wassail,
only
wassail,
tune we know.
So that's it for Christmas, I think. Yes. And now we can move into Easter. Sound good?
Sounds good. I'm trying to think.
Do you have any questions about Christmas so far?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do they have like any like Father Christmas figures or anything like that? No, they didn't have
No.
any like mythology or anything around.
No, because
Christmas.
it was so religious.
Right.
I just couldn't, like, you couldn't, it'd be heresy to be like, a creepy old man breaks into your house because it's Christmas. I mean, creepy old men might have broken into houses, but I don't think it was because it was Christmas.
As if the peasantry needed more to worry about.
Right? Oh no, the old man is back. Every December 25th. And he always wears the same red shirt. I don't even know how he could afford that red color. You want to move on to Easter?
Yes, let's do that.
Easter is less exciting because it's a lot more religious.
Easter, another holiday where you eat ham. So
I mean, unfortunately, yes, but luckily Jeff's mom always she's made lamb for me, and I'm obsessed with lamb.
I mean, unless you're eating gyros.
Unless what?
I mean, lamb's only good if you're eating gyros.
No, lamb is delicious. Anyway, I would gnaw on a lamb bone. I
would gnaw on a lamb bone.
I love lamb.
Okay.
It's so tasty. Ham is disgusting. Always and forever. So
Team ham, team lamb.
Team turkey. Team tam.
What?
No, team.
Okay, what team would Jeff be on if he were here right now?
Ham.
Oh God, I love that man.
You can
I love
marry
that man
him.
because that man loves ham.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that ham. I don't like that ham man. It's just a man carved of ham.
Well, this was supposed to be a
Guy
episode on
Fieri.
holidays, but we're talking about food more than anything.
Well, food is important to holidays.
It really is.
Also, ham man just makes me think of like Guy Fieri has a sculpture of another human being of ham.
I was gonna say that's like his superhero, like his secret identity.
He just wears a spandex suit, but it's really ham. He's got like a piece of lunch ham meat with holes cut in it for an eye mask.
I'm taking you criminals to the Flavortown jail.
So Easter. So Palm Sunday, much like today, was the start of Holy Week, the week before Easter. They actually, Garrett and I know Holy Week. There's Palm Sunday, Holy Wednesday, Holy Thursday. Back then it was called Maundy Thursday. And then Good Friday. Maundy.
What does a Maundy mean?
I don't know. Somebody who couldn't pronounce Monday. They were trying to say Monday through Thursday, and they're like, Maundy through Thursday. And they're like, okay, I got it. Maundy Thursday. That Bible story was poorly written. Somebody had bad handwriting.
The bad Bible.
So they had Holy Week, much like Garrett and I are aware of, but Garrett and I know Holy Week, and it's just like holy days of obligation where you're literally obliged to go to church.
Pretty much.
But they actually did things differently then. So Palm Sunday was the start. And so today, if you go to Palm Sunday Mass, you actually are given palm reads. And they do that reading, that story in the Bible where Jesus approaches, is it Bethlehem? And everybody's laying down palm reads.
I believe so. That's when he's riding on the donkey, correct?
Yes. Catholic education coming in handy.
Love it.
Thanks, Mom. So
for me, Palm Sunday was just a day where you go to church and they give you,
and then you have to figure out how to turn it into a cross.
Oh no, it was just something that laid around the house until you got tired of it and threw it away.
Oh no. Every year we'd get people who could like fold a palm into a cross. And so every Palm Sunday, whenever I get a palm, I look for the longest one, and then I spend time trying to figure out how to fold it into a cross. And I finally figured it out a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Since I was a child, like I thought the people who could do it were witches, and I'm like, how are you
what sorcery is this?
How are you in this holy place? You are a demon. So on Palm Sunday, there was a special shrine. So the clergy would carry it around the outside of church, and then the laity, which I'm assuming means the people, the normal people in the church, they would go in the opposite direction, and then they would meet at the door of the church and they'd go in. And then there was something called a Lent veil, and it was lifted and put back down as they passed through the door. And the Lent veil is important. I think it was up for all of Lent. And then there's Holy Wednesday, and that's when they read the story of the veil in the Temple of Jerusalem. I don't know that one. Sorry. Do you know that one?
No, I just thought of something I want to ask.
Okay. And then, but you don't get to ask questions. I'm just kidding. Question time is later. The veil.
Well, it would actually be good to ask now.
Okay.
So you know how in Catholic Mass the priest would change like the color of his outfits based on the season. Did they do that back then, or do you know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think they would, but I just thought it'd be
for non-Catholics. The seasons are color coded. Green, was that for ordinary time?
I think so.
Was purple for?
I think purple was Lent.
Was purple Lent or holy days? Purple was Lent and Easter, and then a couple weeks following Easter.
White would be for actual holy days.
White, or was it Christmas? What was Christmas? What did they wear for Christmas?
We're bad Catholics.
No, I'm paying so much attention to what the priest is saying. I can't pay attention to his garments, Garrett.
Right.
That's what it is.
I'm blinded by the spirit.
Well, let's think about this. The Advent candles are 3 purple and a pink. So is purple Advent and Christmas?
Maybe.
I think it
I
is.
keep wanting to say Lent is purple though. Like
maybe Lent is just holy weeks or holy periods. It's like Christmas and Easter are the most holy.
If any of our listeners are
if you're a priest,
if you're screaming at your like phone or whatever you're listening to this on, and you're like, I know the answer,
let me know.
Let us know.
I just want to satisfy my curiosity now.
Set us straight.
Anyway, that was a good question.
Thanks.
I don't think so though, because based on that episode we did where I was researching like the dyes they used.
Yeah,
purple was so expensive. Now, to be fair, the church had money before Henry VIII got involved. But afterwards, IDK. So then on Maundy Thursday, they washed the altars with wine and water, and then people went to confession. I wonder how common confession was back then. Like nowadays, you just kind of go whenever you're feeling overburdened by your sins.
I mean, with as much as they went to church back then, I'd assume they'd go to confession quite a bit.
I think so too. I think like the super religious kings and queens like Catherine and Mary, they went once a week at least. Like I feel like I heard a story where Catherine of Aragon went so much and they were just like, you don't really have that much to say. buy one, get one free. This is good for one Catholic. And then Good Friday. I'm talking about all these details for a reason. I'll tell you afterwards. So then Good Friday, they did a thing called Creep Into the Cross, which sounds like a baller rap song by a Christian group.
Creeping to the Cross.
Creeping to the Cross. So I really hope one of our listeners is a rap star or just into rap, and they write a rap called Creep Into the Cross.
Or at least give us like the album art. It's just like really, really awful Photoshop.
Have you ever seen those Photoshops of the Pope as a rap star? No. They're a delight. I'll show you after this. So the clergy would literally creep to the crucifix on their hands and knees, kiss the feet of Christ, and then the congregation did the same. And then there was the preparation of the Easter sepulcher, and that was just a stone or wood niche that represented Jesus's tomb, and it held the host, which is what we call the wafers of communion, and image of Christ. That was covered with a cross, candles were lit, and some church members guarded it.
Are you done with this thought?
With Good Friday, yes.
Okay. Stations of the Cross. For those who don't know, Stations of the Cross was
horrible.
It was. Was it 15 stations?
A lot. It was in the teens.
Yeah. It was all the stations of Jesus being
crucified.
So
it includes his arrest, his trial.
Yes. All the people that he met and all the times he fell down, like Jesus falls for the first time, and then everyone kneels, gets up, and somebody reads a passage about
Well, there's at least 12. Yeah. 14.
Okay, sounds close.
And that's commonly. I don't think this will be done individually or in a procession, most commonly during Lent, especially on Good Friday. God, I remember doing the Station of the Cross. Okay, hold on. I'm looking at a quick history. Originated in pilgrimages to Jerusalem after the siege in 1187. During the 15th and 16th century, the Franciscans began to build a series of outdoor shrines in Europe to duplicate their counterparts in the Holy Land. 1490. Yeah, so I mean, it might have been done. Okay. I don't think it was a regular thing, but there were it looks like Franciscan friars before Henry VIII kind of they were setting up something similar to the Station of the Cross. Good question.
Thanks.
So then on Easter Sunday, those candles that were around the Easter sepulchre were extinguished. The priests relit them. The sepulchre was open. Mass was had. And that was the end of Lent. And people could start eating dairy and meat again, which once again, awful. I didn't know dairy. Meat, I knew.
Yeah, meat.
Do you ever...
Big thing in our house.
Do you ever tell people, same here, do you ever tell people that you're Catholic and they're like, oh man, I'm so sorry you can't eat meat? I actually get that a lot.
Sometimes.
A lot.
Yeah.
Apparently, before, I think in the 1970s, Pope John Paul II, I think it was Pope John Paul II, he changed the rules. You used to not be allowed to eat meat at all during Lent. No, I'm sorry. No Friday, ever.
Yeah.
You couldn't eat meat.
All through the year?
All through the year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that used to, and I think it was until the 1970s with Pope John Paul II. So that used to be a thing.
Man, he was a good dude.
Yeah, thanks, John. I really like pizza with sausage and pepperoni on it. And pizza's my Friday meal.
Especially on my Fridays.
It's a Friday thing for me. Okay. And Easter was one of the 3 times a year where communion was taken. So, let's talk a little bit about all of that shit that I was talking about. So, the Protestants and the Catholics, we talked about this with Henry VIII. The Catholics had all of these things. Like, these were very important parts of Catholic life. Mm-hmm. The Protestants, part of what they hated about Catholicism was its worship of idolatry, meaning that you weren't worshiping Christ because you were praying to a crucifix. You were worshiping the crucifix. That's heresy. That's blasphemy. You're saying the crucifix is Christ, and that's not what it is.
I can see that. It's
kind of like how Catholics pray through saints. Like, so for non-Catholics, I don't know any other religion, sorry, but for non-Catholics, growing up, I was taught that there are prayers you can say to certain saints. Like there's the patron saint of X, Y, and Z, you know? So you pray through saints. So what you're really doing is praying for the saint to intercede on your behalf, but you pray through them. That was not cool with Protestants. They were like, you can't pray to the saints. They don't have the power to do anything. It's only Jesus and God who can do this. So a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about now, like the sepulcher and the candles, I'm pretty sure that those were banned when Protestants, during Henry VIII's reign, less so. I think a little bit here and there, like little touches were banned, but mostly during Edward's reign because his was the most Protestant reign of all of them. Mm-hmm. So all of that stuff ceased to be. So fish during Lent, that was around then. Like you could eat fish, but you can't have meat.
Okay.
Like the entirety of Lent back then, right?
Meat and dairy.
Right. So fish was a Catholic thing. So Henry VIII was like, well, yeah, you can eat fish or something like that. And like it ended up harming the economy because it's an island. So they had just a ton of fish. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened was like he banned fish. Yes, he banned fish. This is what it is. And welcome to my fun fact for Henry VIII. Ooh. So Henry VIII banned fish. He said, you can't eat fish. It harmed the economy. So his son ended up rescinding that because it was political, because it was tied to the Catholic Church. However, Henry VIII was like, well, I don't want to give up all meat. I mean, it's probably not good for people who are in poor health anyway to give up all that kind of food. He declared that chicken was not a meat.
Okay.
So you could eat chicken.
I mean, I'm down with that.
I read that a long time ago, and I've been trying to find the source for it, but I know I read it in nonfiction. Like, I know it wasn't a made-up fact just to sell a book. It was something I read in a biography or something. So he declared that chicken was not a meat, and I bet you that was in response to the declaring fish off off limits because it was tied to Catholicism.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't consider fish a meat.
One thing I quickly browsed through said that it's cold-blooded, so you can't eat hot-blooded food.
So
The
I could
fish
eat a
is cold-
lizard.
I guess.
Yeah. I'll eat
I
some
don't know.
frogs.
Fish don't have souls. But according to Catholics, nothing has a soul but humans. All dogs do not go to heaven.
Movie lied to me.
So I've always loved that whole, like, Henry VIII just was like, well, I don't want to give up chicken, so it's not a meat anymore. Ooh. Okay. So there's something called Shrove Sunday and Shrove Tuesday. And I think it still exists on the Catholic calendar. It's just not, like, celebrated like it used to be. And that was the beginning of Lent. And I'm going to tell you about a game that they used to play. It's called Threshing the Cock.
Bow, bow,
What do you think Threshing the Cock was? It's so ridiculous.
I want to say it's badminton.
No. They tied up a chicken, a rooster, and people would throw things at it, and whoever killed it won.
God.
They were a violent sort back then. Beating each other with sticks, killing chickens.
It's like, yes, finally the sport we can play where we don't have to hit each other in the face with giant sticks.
Guys, why are we hitting each other with sticks? We should be killing this chicken. God. This chicken insulted my mother. Murder it.
Have you ever heard about the I don't think it has anything to do with Catholicism, but I think it's a Christmas thing. It might be I want to somewhere in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
There's a you get a dead frog and you fill it with like treats and like candy and stuff, and then you like poke it with a stick till it comes out its butt. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's
Garrett,
something along
Garrett,
the
where
lines.
did you read about this?
I think I heard on one of Kevin Smith's
Was it
podcasts.
Reddit? Was it Reddit? Because I don't think it's true. No. So apparently, sex was also forbidden during Lent.
That's not a world I want to live in.
That's 40 days and 40
it's a
nights.
world I already live in, but bum.
Poor Garrett. Hey, ladies, Garrett's available, and he's quite a catch. Yeah, it was forbidden. So I'm just imagining, like, on Easter Sunday, everybody's banging.
Oh my!
Like the feasts were cut short, and everybody's like, "All right, we gotta go." I wonder how strictly that was enforced.
They're not gonna have like guards sitting inside your house just watching you like, hey.
No, but you know how strong Catholic guilt is.
That is absolutely true.
I bet you when they go to confession on Maundy Thursday, they're like, "I banged," and the priest's like, "All right, 10 Our Fathers, 10 Hail Marys, just get out."
He just turns over and checks off another tally on the confessional wall.
And then during his Sunday sermon, he goes, "You guys are awesome. You beat last year's record for however many of you banged in Easter. Good job."
I'm so proud of all of you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I have a little bit more about other holidays that they celebrated, and some of them kind of surprised me. They did celebrate Valentine's Day. It was St. Valentine's Day. They had May Day, Midsummer's Eve, Swithin's Day, Lammas Day. That was
You said Swiffin's Day, but I keep thinking of Swifty from Rick and Morty.
Swifties.
Swifty Day.
Swifty Day. There was Michaelmas, All Souls Day.
Michaelmas?
Michaelmas. There was a Saint Michael.
Okay.
I never read anything that explained what it was. All I saw was like it was used as a reference whenever they're like, "What time of year was it?" And they're like, "Oh, it was Michaelmas." And I'm like, "I don't know. It's in September."
Okay.
St. Crispin's Day, and All Souls Day, which is All Hallows Eve.
I was going to ask about Halloween.
It was. They lit bonfires for a lot of these things. So then there was also something. Okay. So during Christmas, some things were celebrated. I'm pretty sure it was around Christmas time. There was something called, it was the boy bishop. And what they would do was on December 6th, a boy would become the bishop and carry out all of the bishop's work.
This sounds like another one of our stupid movie ideas,
really
but
does.
it was real.
It really does. And the only thing he couldn't do was carry out mass. However, Henry VIII in 1541, he was like, well, this is mocking the head of the church, and I'm the head of the church, so he banned it.
What a freaking buzzkill, Henry.
I know. And then there was
Just
something.
let the kid be bishop.
I know. Just let him make ridiculous rules. Everybody must bring me candy.
Yay!
Invent chocolate and then give it all to me.
School's canceled.
Actually, there was something where the boys took over schools.
Huh.
I wrote about it. All right, well, I mean, I know I wrote about it, but okay, so the boys would take over the schools and they'd essentially demand things like less homework and more playtime. And like, it was just oh yeah, here it is. Like this one article said it was around Christmas time, but another one said it was an April Fool's thing. So I'm lumping it in with April Fool's because it's called the Lord of Misrule.
Okay.
Also known as the Feast of Fools, which if you've watched Hunchback of Notre Dame, that's what it is.
It's been so long.
So there's a festival where like the craziest drunkest mofo.
Emily has not had a drop of liquor, but if you were listening, you would not know that.
I'm not drunk, guys. I promise. They would get like the craziest, drunkest.
That was so perfect.
He would take over the festival and kind of run everything and make a lot of decisions.
Who is this?
It's called the Lord of Misrule. And it was just a holiday they celebrated. I think it was an April Fool's thing, like April 1st. But one article made it seem like it was around Christmas time. So maybe there was a Lord of Misrule, and then the Feast of Fools was a separate time, and eventually they just lumped them together.
Yeah.
Either way, I thought that one was pretty cool. And that's it for the holidays that I know about. So I hope this is what our wonderful listener was kind of interested in hearing about. No sex, no meat, no dairy, and chicken is now no longer meat.
Boring ass holidays.
Boring. Christmas sounded pretty cool. I wouldn't mind celebrating Christmas for 12 days.
That's true.
Like I always thought, whenever I see it depicted in older movies, I always thought it looked really cool.
Did they do trees at all?
No, actually, I did read about this. Trees were not heavily, like they weren't around. They did decorate with a lot of greenery, but trees weren't a thing. It's not because it wasn't a thing in general. It's because it just wasn't in the Tudor courts.
Okay.
So some places did do them. You know how we put lights on our trees?
Yeah.
Well, before electricity, it used to be candles, which how many fires do you think that started? So they used to put candles on trees, and the candle thing is supposedly because when Martin Luther, the guy who created Lutheranism, when he was like walking back from some country to another, he was looking up at the stars and he thought of how beautiful the stars were, and he wanted to share that beauty with others. And it was around Christmas, so he put a ton of candles on his tree to be like the stars.
'Cause that's safe.
I don't think they cared too much about safety back then. I mean, they thought before the Black Plague, people used to wash regularly, very regularly. Like they were a pretty hygienic society. They would bathe regularly. However, then the Black Plague hit and they were like, oh, we're too clean. And so they stopped washing. So it just became a thing where like people stopped being as hygienic.
God.
Yeah.
We really need to get onto that episode about illnesses.
I know we do. But this one is appropriate because it's close to Easter.
No, this happened at a really good time. And we got a lot of good stuff out of it.
Yeah, I'm happy.
It was almost like the religion episode 2.0.
It was. And I think it was worth it.
Because I know Emily and I both really liked that one because we got to let out all those Catholic frustrations. Like, oh my God, I did this too.
Nobody but another Catholic understands the frustration of growing up Catholic. Like, do you know how much it sucks when you're like at a friend's house and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend on a Friday, and your mom is like, okay, remember you can't eat meat, and your friends are like, I'm gonna order a pepperoni pizza, and I'm like,
listen.
I'll pick off the pepperoni, and then at midnight I'm not kidding, during Lent when I would hang out with my best friends, I would not eat anything with meat, and then as soon as the clock struck midnight, I'd be
down in Slim Jims left and right.
No, chicken nuggets and chicken patties. I'd just microwave a ton of them and have them all night long. And then I found out recently that apparently you're not allowed to do that at midnight. You have to wait until like 3 a.m. I don't know how true that is, but like that was like
I know there's some weird rules with fasting.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just that like Catholic life.
This Catholic life.
This Catholic moment.
When your lips
Are
are
far
close
from
to no one
mine.
because Jesus is the only one who should be close to. So you got anything else from me, Emily, or is that it?
No, that's it.
I was going to have questions. I wanted to ask about, saints' holidays and mini holidays, but you covered that.
I did.
You're so good at the show.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anything you want to add?
Not really. I mean, I don't know anything about it. That's why you're the one telling me all this stuff.
Yes, this is usually the way the show works.
Green.
Sorry, Jeff. Anyway,
so Emily, how can our lovely listeners find us?
you can find us on Twitter at Tudor Know Her. I'm on it a lot. I have conversations with other people on it, which I have been enjoying immensely. So keep them coming. And on Facebook, did I say the Twitter
You said the
handle?
Twitter.
Okay. The Facebook page is just simply Tudor Know Her, or Tudor I Hardly Know Her. So you can find us on that. Share your posts, see what we're sharing. I'm trying to get better about sharing cool facts about the Tudors. So hopefully you can continue to learn stuff throughout the week. I share videos, pictures, stuff like that. And it's a really great way to reach out to us if you have questions or suggestions or anything like that. And
you
then
might get a whole episode.
Yeah.
Based on something you have a question about.
Which you absolutely did. So that's it for our social media. And guys, get on iTunes and rate and review us, please. It helps other people find us. It gives me an ego boost, and it's just kind of cool to read them.
Yeah. It makes us want to do this show even more. Not that we don't want to do this show. We love
No,
doing this
yeah.
show.
So
But it's like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what people think about this one. It's just
it's pretty cool.
Intoxicating.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I obsessively check our downloads, and it's really cool to see which episodes usually end up with the most downloads and to see what you guys like, because it informs
Spoiler
us.
alert, it's King Naps.
Yeah, everybody really liked the Edward episode. We got a lot of downloads from that one.
That was so good though.
Yes. So it's pretty cool to see all that stuff. We really appreciate all of our fans. You guys are really awesome. Like I know I've said this before, but I expected maybe 50 people to listen to this thing. And of that, I figured most of them would be friends we guilted into listening to it. So it's just super, super cool that others are listening to it. The people we have no clue how they found us. It means a lot. It's not a ton of people, but it's still a hell of a lot more than we expected.
All right. So, Emily, do you know what we're doing next week, or have we not decided yet?
We haven't decided yet. We could do another episode like this where we talk about a cultural thing, or I'm thinking we should get back to talking about people. I'm kind of wanting to do an episode about Henry VIII's mother, just because she had a wacky connection to the Tudor family. She was the daughter, wife, and mother of a king. And she should have been the sister of a king.
Well, I think that is what we will talk about next time.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll still take suggestions. This one came in like 2 days ago, so good job.
All right. So, until then.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Team Ham.
Team Turkey. Team Turkey.